So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Well, listen here.
Hello, and welcome to 90 Day Fiance MK. I'm Mr. O, and today, Miss H and I will be discussing Season 7, Episode 13 of 90 Day Fiance. In this episode, we have 4 weddings and 2 not weddings. Michael and Angela weigh their options, Mike and Natalie think about breaking up, and Tania and Syngin, Blake and Jasmine, Anna, Marcel, and Annie and Robert all tie the knot. We'll hash out all the details of all the weddings, plus have our Students of the Week, class dunces, and life lessons. 2 quick notes. If you like our podcast, please leave us a rating and review. It helps other people find us. And also, if you watch Love After Lockup, check out our other podcast, Love After Lockup, haha, okay, wherever you listen to podcasts. Okay, on to the show. Enjoy.
Hello, Mr. O.
Hello, Miss H.
How are you?
I've been doing better. I had a minor car accident, so I've been dealing with the insurance companies all week.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be worse. You could be getting married to one of these people.
Yeah, that's true. Any one of these people would be worse to be with.
For the last classic, you gave me a would you rather. So at the end of our podcast today, I have one for you.
Oh, okay. All right.
That I've been thinking about.
Exciting. So, which couple did you want to start with?
Why don't we start off with the first on my list, which was Anna Marcel, and I think it was just because they happened to go first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they went first, and
yes,
they had a thing.
Yeah, there was a common theme.
Yes.
In this episode was frantic weddings.
Yes.
Frantic last minute putting stuff together for their weddings.
Yeah, that was definitely the theme. Just all out rush for the marriage. Because this one even like emphasized that this group, because they kept putting up like a countdown of like 6 hours until visa expires. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like we were watching 24.
Exactly. It was like beep, boop, beep,
yeah.
boop.
I definitely felt that too. We kind of talked about this on the last episode. It's like, come on, like whatever. Midnight's gonna roll around.
Right.
ICE is not gonna come busting down your door to haul them away. Like,
yeah,
it's fine.
And it was counting down to midnight. Like, it was like, I feel like your officiant's gonna go to bed before that. It's not like the visa's expired.
Well, she did call to see.
Yeah, to make sure. She told her
to make sure that she was.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Yep. So she was confirming the availability because it was such a late hour. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. So Marcel lands, and they claim to have 6 hours left on the visa. And he got to fly into Omaha this time, so a lot closer.
Right. Well, he connected in Chicago because I noticed when they said, which flight is it? She was like, oh, it's from Chicago. And I was like, yeah, exactly. You have connecting flights from Chicago. I don't know why she drove there.
Why would you want to drive?
Yeah.
So Joey isn't coming to the wedding, and Grandma isn't coming to the wedding either.
Oh, yeah, it's true. She did say that Joey was staying with Grandma, but I didn't, like, in my head, all the way put that together that meant Grandma was not coming to the wedding either. Because Grandma's not a Marcel fan either. I remember that now.
Oh, she is definitely not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because she's scared that, Marcel's really going to stone Anna.
Right.
That's, like, buried in all their...
Right. It's very much a classic relative move of, well, I Googled something, and it said blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's like on our classic, I Googled Mormons, and I came up with polygamy.
Yeah. It's just so much. If you start with, I Googled something about your culture, you're not going to end up in a good place.
No, definitely not. So, I don't know. I just feel like, Anna, that should tell you a lot if your mother and oldest son, the one that's actually old enough to really kind of make these decisions for himself, are not supportive of your relationship. True.
But so the ones who are not old enough to make their own decisions, they go to the airport with her. And I felt really bad for them because, like, they got in the car to go to the airport, and they both were like, how long of a drive is it? I was like, oh.
Yeah.
I feel bad.
At least they were going to Omaha instead of Chicago because they were annoying each other the entire time.
But, like, I feel like you should know how far away the airport is. That means you've ever, like, been to the airport.
I think maybe they were asking that because they're like, how much longer do I have to be in the car with this this thing.
with this, just this, with it.
They weren't even sitting next to each other, but apparently Gino was in the front seat and he kept on looking at Leo away, and Leo wasn't about it. Mm-hmm. He's like, Gino's looking at me.
Yeah, that sounds right. God. Why are you touching it? Stop touching it. That definitely sounded like kids in the car. I'm surprised she wasn't asking how much longer it was to the airport in that case.
I know, right? And what was with Leo carrying around that crazy water gun everywhere?
I don't know.
Or a Nerf gun? I couldn't tell what it was.
I think it was a Nerf gun. I don't know. Kids are kids. You never know what they're going to... Yeah. I need to have my water gun. All right, don't shoot it in the car.
Right, exactly. It's like, how are you going to use that in the car? That's not exactly like road trip game entertainment material. Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like it's like a boy version of a stuffy. Like, this is my comfort squirt gun. I like having it around.
That's weird. Yeah, so Anna and the boys are making their way through the airport, and fashion note, because I feel like we're going to have a bunch of fashion notes on today's
so many
episode.
Fashion notes.
Yeah, why is her dress so short? When she's walking around, I was just like, oh my gosh, girl, like, you gotta cover
not a walk around
cheeks.
Dress.
Come on now.
I mean, it's a dress that was just too short. I mean, there's nowhere else to put it. It's like you have to try it on and be like, yes, the top is cute, but.
It barely covers your butt.
Right.
So maybe we should be rethinking this. Yeah. So they're waiting around at the airport. The boys are already looking bored. They looked so bored.
Mm-hmm. They did. But they finally got him to talk. Like, production kept him busy by talking to him. They're like, what do you think of it?
Is there going to be cake?
I'm excited for cake. That's about it.
Yes, I want cake.
That's that. I don't know what else there is to be excited about for this wedding, but besides cake, the cake, and later we'll see the non-alcoholic champagne.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, but Gino is a little bit more mature than Leo. He's like, I'm excited for my mom to be happy.
Yeah.
And I like that my mom is smiling again. It's like, oh, God, no.
Yeah. It's like what he doesn't say speaks volumes. Like, are you happy this man is coming to live with you? I'm happy my mom will be happy.
I'm wondering how miserable she was when Marcel was gone, and if she was making their lives miserable by being miserable. Mm-hmm. Because then I could kind of see where Leo was coming from. Like, yeah, my mom's smiling again. She's happy. This is a good thing.
Yeah, and it is one thing to care about, like, the emotions of others and care that other people, the people that you love are happy and everything. But, man, he couldn't even dig in and say, like, I'm glad Marcel's coming back because I like him and I'm happy they're going to be around. It was like, ugh.
Yeah, at least Gino has that. I mean, Gino actually seems to care that his mom is happy. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, in previous episodes, he's kind of said that he likes Marcel and he thinks Marcel is a nice guy.
Yeah, I wonder if that's before. I remember every time he said that, though, it was before Marcel left. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I still feel bad for these kids.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why their segments are so depressing, is because, you know, like having to deal with their mom who's making a bad life decision and dragging all of them through it. It's very clear that it's causing conflict with her current family members. I mean, if you think about it, Anna really only has the boys and her mom, it seems like, in terms of family, and half of the family doesn't like him or doesn't want her to be there.
It might have been a much better, like, whole storyline if it was like a before the 90 or the other way type thing. Like, she wasn't there with the kids, like the kids directly exposed to all this nonsense and having their entire living arrangement just be jerked from left to right. Really, like, it was kind of a boring storyline anyway, absent that. But at least it wouldn't be depressing. Like, this is just depressing.
Yeah, definitely. So Anna, she's just flustered at the airport from, like, the get-go. And it's just like, she's just making everything so much more dramatic, so much more high anxiety. It's just like, girl, you need to calm yourself. You're stressing out everybody around you.
Yeah, so much. Except Marcel. He doesn't seem to get that stressed, to be honest.
No. Even though she keeps yelling at him.
Two hours. 2 hours.
2 hours. Marriage, hours, 2.
Marriage, chukkud. Marriage. Yeah. Yes.
God.
Oh.
So then she hands Marcel a steamer.
You know, my favorite.
Your favorite. Yeah. Your favorite thing. And he is so confused. He's like, what the hell is this?
What are you doing to my shirt?
What do I do with this?
Why are you doing this to my shirt? Like, I wonder if he
work?
like was just has he ironed shirts before? I don't know, but he's done anything with shirts before. Like steamed or ironed. And that's based 100% on the rest of the segment of him getting dressed. It's like, I don't think he's done this before.
Yeah, he definitely seemed very confused. I don't know, but Marcel always seems confused, so I feel like that's normal, right?
Right. I mean, he seemed to get it, like, after she did, like, one little strip, he was like, oh, it's easy. Yeah, that's not hard. Just do it. Like, he was like, oh, no, you're showing me a complicated machine. I can't possibly handle it. And then she, like, did it. He was like, oh.
Oh, my gosh. And he was like, oh, that's it? Well, he seemed even confused when he had to turn it off. He was like, oh, this big button, right? Because, I mean, the steamer is pretty simple, right? There's a button to turn it on and off.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it.
And a place to put the water. Like, that's
yeah.
it.
But I mean, in terms of, like, I don't know, turning it on and off, it's like he looks so confused. Like, this big button? Is this what I press?
That's a toggle switch. Totally off. Totally confusing.
I know. At first I was thinking he's going to set something on fire, but I was like, I don't think he can really do that with the steamer. Yeah, so it's probably for the best that she gave him that instead of an iron.
Oh yeah, he'd totally scorched his shirt with the iron. No doubt.
Yeah. Maybe that was intentional. I don't know. If Marcel really is the simpleton we are kind of led to believe.
This did not help his case. Because after he steams the shirt, he puts on like his shirt and tie, and I am truthering this right now. He did not tie that tie. Someone else tied that tie for him. I think production did.
I'm sure.
Because when he like tightened it up, he tightened it from like really loose, which means that he had to loosen it enough to get it over his head. If you tie your tie, it's just a little bit loose. You don't have to like And then I
don't know.
And then because it still had like the thing, and then his collar was messed up for the rest of the show. And it was driving me insane. Yeah.
I mean, we maybe should have had a special segment on all the random fashion notes.
Oh, I will.
I feel like
I'm going to bring them up. I have many. I don't know what you have. You might have noticed the women's fashion notes, but I noticed many men's fashion notes.
Oh, there were a couple things for men's fashion notes. We'll get to it when we get to it.
Well, that was one. The one when he had the collar of his shirt outside of the collar of his jacket. And only one side. And nobody fixed that man's collar. Like, sometimes you mess up a collar, but like, how's nobody look at him and be like, oh, hold up, Marcel, let me fix this for you? Nobody at all.
Well, I guess if you think about it, no one is there for him. You know, they don't care if he looks like a tool.
Yeah, but that's just like basic decency. Like, I can't see someone walk down the street with a collar. I'll stop a stranger and be like, hey, man, your collar's kind of messed up. Can I fix it? I would legitimately do that.
I feel like the boys would be the only ones that are maybe a little bit on Marcel's side, and they wouldn't know the difference.
Oh, they definitely don't know the difference. Yeah, because they were wearing, like, T-shirts.
Yeah, pretty much. So Anna is excited. She's stressed, and she's flipping out, and her friends are trying to help her set up because they're getting married in their backyard. So, you know, they're trying to set up the flowers and the decoration and get her ready, and she's just starting to stress cry. And she, at this point, is, like, making me anxious watching her. Right. Well, at this point, she was so, like, stressed and anxious, but she still had a curling iron in her hand. And I was like, let's not do that. That's not, like, oh, no. At least she's not like Chelsea crying with the curling iron. I don't even know how to use this. It was like a weird curling iron thing, wasn't it? It like sucked the hair in and then like pushed it back out. It was like a motorized one or something. Those things scare me. I don't like those. No, it reminds me of like, did you ever see Who Framed Roger Rabbit? When he gets his like, he has like a ticker machine and he gets his tie like caught in it and then gets shot. It makes he can get away. Yes. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I haven't seen the movie, but I can visualize what it is that you're talking about. So she comes out, and what did you think of her dress? It was okay. I don't know. It's just a dress. I agree. I thought it was okay. So my thoughts on the dress were the dress itself was pretty, but I think it might have accentuated the fact that she's kind of got a weird body. Yeah, I can do that. Why are her boobs like all the way up to her chin? Because she had that thing, that under support no strap dress that is like, you know, like almost like a built-in corset that like pushes them up.
So
I don't know. It just looks so bizarre. Like, I feel like she could have, like, if she had an ice cream cone and stuck it in her cleavage, she could have, like, eaten it. Like, just by, like, you know, bending, like, tilting her head down. She could have eaten the ice cream right out of her boobs.
Everybody can't see Miss H was trying to do that herself, and it wasn't working very well.
Well, yeah, because my boobs are not, like, close to my chin, thank God. Yeah, I don't know. It just accentuated, like, very weird parts of her body.
I'll see that. I could see that. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah, but the dress itself was pretty.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it wasn't. I wasn't like notably pretty. It was very much. I don't know. It was middle of the road.
Right. Actually, I put in my notes. Her dress looks just okay.
Just okay.
That's what
it's like those commercials when it's just okay is not okay.
Yeah. Actually, those commercials are pretty funny. I like them.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. So then Anna actually officially says her mom doesn't think very highly of Marcel, so she's not coming to the wedding. So her and Vivi are in the room trying to get things together, and all of a sudden Marcel is knocking on the door, and everybody's flipping out. No, you can't see her. Like in her dress, you know, it's not time yet. But Marcel wants to follow Turkish tradition and tie a red ribbon around her wedding dress because he said that it's supposed to be done for the first time, which then kind of made me question, like, I don't know if Anna was really married. This is her first marriage?
I think it is. I don't think she was married to the boy's dad. I get the impression they all have the same dad, but they were never married. Yeah.
That seems so odd, I guess, considering there's such a huge range in their ages, so implying that they've been together for a really long time. Or at least on and off for a long time.
Yeah, I know people who have been like in situations like that. Like one of my I definitely know a couple that have like 3 kids. They've been together for 13 years. Or, you know, or 14, actually probably longer than that now, and they're just not married, and they're just like, "Yep, that's not us. We're not going to get married. We're just going to do this."
But I feel like at that point, it's like, why then would you ever want to get married?
After that, yeah. I don't know. Sometimes that's a one-person decision, and I could totally 100% see Anna staying with someone that was like, yeah, I'm not really kind of the person that's into the marriage thing. Like, we can settle down together, but being married, nah. And then she would just go along with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. And then I could also see Anna thinking that somehow these kids are like anchoring him and keeping him in the relationship, and that's kind of like her security. Like he's not just going to up and leave because we have 3 kids together.
Sure.
Yep. So Marcel, he's trying to be kind of romantic. He says that, well, first of all, what's with him like always talking about touching her hair?
I don't know.
He has this thing with touching her hair.
Yeah, and he said something about like smelling her skin. Let's just hope it was like lost in translation and not. I mean, it was very like Buffalo Bill of him to be talking about the skin. Can you touch skin?
That's weird.
Touch skin.
Yeah, like touch her hair and smelled her skin. And he said, and then the worlds were his. I don't know. It was like kind of romantic, but still at the same time kind of confusing. Like, what do you mean?
Maybe they were Turkish expressions, if we give them the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know. It was sweet, sentimental, I guess.
I guess. It almost feels like a robot trying to say, like, these are words that people think are romantic, and I will say them together. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anna's upset that she didn't get the big wedding she wanted, but, you know, she's kind of happy that at least it's happening. Something.
As the clock is ticking down still.
So she was just gonna walk down the aisle by herself. I mean, she didn't really have a plan. She asked Joey, and it was either Joey or no one, I guess, in her mind.
Right. What is this? Why does this lady forget, like, all the time? Like, you have
yes, you have 2 other children. My God. Yeah. So then Leo asks if he can do it. Can I walk you down the aisle?
Sure.
Super cute.
It was cute. It was cute.
And so then Anna's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. I have 2 other kids.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Gino can do it too. And then Gino's like, fine.
Fine.
Fine, I guess so. Does it mean I have to change out this t-shirt?
No. Lucky they didn't have cargo shorts on.
Yeah, right. And then Marcel thinks Anna is the prettiest girl in the world.
That is a thing someone could think. I I suppose. Yeah. Well, at least he didn't like not kiss her because it was Ramadan. So we have an improvement over other weddings. But it was okay. So after the wedding was over, I thought it was really not weird, very Anna, that she was like, we've come over so many obstacles, you know, like the language barrier and, you know, his family not approving and having trouble with the boys. And I was like, you haven't overcome any of those obstacles. They're all still there.
You've overcome nothing.
You just like pushed them backwards and then got married.
I know. I was going to say, these challenges still exist, and I'm pretty sure you're still going to have to fight through them. My God. Yes. Ridiculous. Oh, Anna. Okay. How likely do you think these two are going to stay together?
Not likely at all. I mean, I think they both just, I take that back. They shouldn't stay together because they shouldn't be together in the first place. But
yeah,
they are both definitely people who would stay in relationships for inertia.
I can kind of see that because I can't really see Marcel having other options.
Right. And she's just, this is good enough. She already decided this is good enough. This was clearly a settle for her. And like, the only thing I could see is I could, and very plausibly, see Marcel just being like, nope, I got to go back to Turkey. I do not like it here. Back to Turkey I go.
Right, and that would probably be more over something like he just misses Turkish pizza, and he's like, "This is no good."
Have you seen pictures? Have you seen pictures of Antalya? Like,
oh yeah, Turkey is like super beautiful in the pictures.
Yeah, so if you had to live there or Omaha,
yeah, right. Although we've talked about it, they have a very good zoo.
Yes, besides the zoo.
Yeah, can't live at the zoo. I don't know. Maybe you can if you're Marcel.
Animals do. Somebody.
All right.
Next wedding.
Okay, who do you want to talk about next?
Let's just do Blake and Jasmine because they were kind of boring. We'll get them out of the way.
I mean, that's been the story like this entire time.
Just boring.
Is that they're boring. Or it's either boring or the couple episodes that they actually had something, it seemed very fabricated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we start with Jasmine getting herself ready. I think she was getting herself ready, right?
Okay. Do you really believe that Jasmine has never been to a wedding?
Yeah. No, I don't.
That seemed so unlikely.
Because if she had never been to a wedding, you would have walked her through it, right?
Yeah.
Why in this show do we always have to pretend like they don't do rehearsals? Now, granted, like Anna Marcel, like rushing from the airport to the ceremony. Yeah, maybe not a rehearsal. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like we'll see it later, like Syngin and Tania, maybe not a rehearsal. But there was clearly a rehearsal. Like, come on.
Yeah, I just find it very weird. Like, she says everything she knows about weddings are things she's seen in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like, do you not have friends? Like, you don't have a single friend that's been married?
Well, how old is she, though? Like, I do know
She's
that...
like 24, 25.
The Europeans
I'm sure...
don't get married. Like, that's a big... Like, it's different over there.
I don't know.
Don't get married.
It seems unlikely that she hasn't been to a single wedding.
Aunts, uncles...
And even then, like, the movies that show weddings, I don't know. That's like very traditional American wedding. It seemed like she'd never even seen a movie with a wedding in it.
Right.
Because she was like, what? I'm supposed to walk with flowers?
Walking
That's a thing?
Flowers? What? Yeah. Yeah. Why do I need flowers? Like, come on. You've seen anything. The friggin' Guns N' Roses November Rain video, they have carry flowers. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't really believe her. I was like, uh-huh. But it was kind of sweet that Blake, he's going to make a homemade bouquet for her because, you know, they're trying to keep it on the cheap. And so a little bit of what we'll hear later a million times, a DIY wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But Blake is trying to make the bouquet for her. And so he's like trying to get the thorns off, cuts himself. Jasmine has no idea any of this is going on. She's like, what? I'm supposed to have flowers?
Right. So I have no point of reference for it, but I was imagining somebody who, like, you know, has a hobby of flower arranging, you know, as people do. There are people who that's their hobby. They enjoy doing it. I imagine they were being driven as nuts as I was with Marcel's tie. Like, oh my God, Blake, what are you doing? No.
Yeah,
no.
Right.
He was just like attacking him with kitchen scissors. Why did you strip all the leaves? What are you doing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he was like almost like trying to peel them like carrots.
Yeah.
It's like, no wonder you got stabbed by a thorn. That's not how you remove them.
So yeah, I just imagine somebody who actually makes a bouquet is like, oh my God, what is he doing to these poor flowers?
Yeah. I mean, it looked okay. I mean, for someone who, based on how he was taking off the thorns, seems to have zero experience with this, it looked okay for someone who had zero experience.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. He did to the best of his ability. Right?
Yeah. So Jasmine, she had ordered a cocktail dress online when she was in Finland because she thought they were going to have a courthouse wedding. So she wore that to the wedding. I actually liked the dress. I thought it was cute.
It was fine.
I thought it was super appropriate.
It definitely fit Jasmine. It definitely fit the park. It just, she was comparatively underdressed to Blake, who was in like a all-out tux. Like if Blake had just been like in a sport jacket with an open collar or something, we'd have been on point.
Right. Yeah. So they're getting ready. It looked like together. And so he wasn't really supposed to see her in the dress. But since she has no idea about wedding traditions or anything, it's like she doesn't know. She didn't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Is that really just an American thing? I
don't know if it's an American thing. I think it's just like a weird wedding superstition thing.
Yeah, but it's definitely like only a Western thing. Like every time they have a Muslim like wedding on the show or someone, who's Muslim getting married, they're all like, why can't I see her? What are you talking about? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. So they're talking about their ideal wedding, and Jasmine's ideal wedding would just have been immediate family, and Blake's ideal wedding would have had everyone close to him. So it looks like Blake won out because it seemed that they had, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people there.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
It was smallish.
Yeah, I would say 20 to 30. And then they introduced, okay, so they asked the friends, what do you think about it? And they have, what was the one's friend's name? Josh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you mean his partner?
Yeah, the one who was in the studio with him, like arguing about Jasmine earlier.
Joe, I want to say.
Joe, I forget what the name was. Some J name.
Let's just call him Jay.
He was there.
Some J name.
And then there was some random like dude with cornrows who was like,
yes.
yeah, like who is that guy? Why didn't you get a name card? He just came out of nowhere. We'd never seen him before.
No one got name cards. Yeah, it was.
I feel like that guy thought he was going to be in the show a lot. I bet they filmed him a lot. And like he was like, why did they cut me completely out?
He was cut from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he needed a hype man for his segment. So that's the reason why. Yeah, they all looked, I don't know, they kind of reminded me of like, that's what Pitbull and his friends would look like partying in Miami with like suits and shades.
Oh, yeah. I can see that. That's definitely the vibe they were going for.
Yeah, definitely.
Although I don't think Pitbull wears ties. He's definitely an open collar person.
No. Yeah, definitely.
And Blake shouldn't wear ties either.
But he's always wearing a jacket.
Yeah, always a jacket. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Blake probably shouldn't wear a tie either. His tie knot. I'm throwing shade on that tie knot. It was a bad tie knot. He just kind of looked like he wrapped it around. Did it stay? It wasn't a triangle. It was like some sort of weird I have feelings about tie knots, apparently.
So Jasmine continues to be confused as to what to do. And so her dad is trying to walk her down the aisle. And then she makes some comment. And I was so confused by this. She's like, okay, like, make sure I don't walk into anything because my eyes are closed. And it's like, why did she think she had to have her eyes closed as she was walking down the aisle? I was like, wait, what? What's happening right now?
I just kind of assumed, you're right, because I had just assumed that, like, because everybody had those Pitbull shades on, that it was like sunny and the sun was in her eyes and she like was squinting and couldn't see. But then the dad didn't have sunglasses on, did he?
No.
So it must have
been. Almost like she thought that her dad should be leading her to the altar while she's blind.
We want your dad to lead you to the aisle. Okay, I guess I'll close my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, okay, I was confused by who the heck were the people in the background. So it looked like you had the officiant, Blake and Jasmine. Mm-hmm. Her sister was very clearly sitting in the audience with her parents.
With her parents, okay.
And then you had these two people that looked like they were the maid of honor and the best man who were standing behind the officiant kind of on, each side respectively. And the woman that was near Jasmine, who would have been the maid of honor, she had some blue hair. And I was like, who is this person?
It just...
And this
I
kind
didn't
of like
notice them at all.
goth dress. I was like, what is happening back there? Is that like her friend? Because we literally have never seen her before.
So Billie Eilish just randomly showed up at their wedding and hung out behind them.
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. But what's kind of funny is you could tell that like production kind of wasn't trying to get them in the shot.
Okay.
And then like when they had some close-ups, you could see them like behind, like standing. They were clearly part of the wedding, but it's just like, who are these people? It's really weird.
More people. I feel like because remember, Blake and Jasmine didn't show up till episode 4 of this.
Yeah.
And there's been episodes since then that they weren't in. So they like had so much stuff that they filmed and were just like, this is boring as hell.
Right.
And so there's definitely many, many people who just got completely cut out. Because I could totally also see Blake trying to finagle all of his friends and all of his, colleagues, all these wannabe rappers that worked for his label onto the show.
Oh God, I know, right? Yeah. That's why I feel like we had Pitbull like crew.
Yeah. But no, don't worry about the red light. The red light's off. We're still filming.
Oh gosh. So they do the thing that annoys us. Blake apparently was low-key crying, and so Jasmine didn't seem to notice that he was crying. So then they're talking about it later, and then he was like, oh yeah, I was crying. And she was like, oh, you were? Oh, well, I'm glad you were.
That's what I wanted.
Because it shows that you love me.
Okay, she
like,
didn't
no!
add the second part. She just said, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, that's what I wanted.
So either he shows that he loves me, or I'm like sadistic.
I like to see you in pain.
I like to see you suffer. Oh, The other thing that drove me nuts is every single person filming that wedding was filming it vertically. And like everybody was filming the wedding.
I think they didn't really have official photographers for being in the part.
But you don't need, like, you know how many people's, because I get this because I filmed like my kids, like, orchestra recital and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and when you film it, your film frame is like halfway filled up with other people's phones filming the same thing you're filming.
Yeah, I think that's so weird. I feel like that's how it is when you go to a concert, right?
Yeah.
It's like the people that are filming something, it's like you just see all the people in front of you filming the same thing. It's very Inception. It's also weird.
I don't film concerts for this reason.
Oh gosh, I don't film concerts because when would I ever watch that footage again?
I wouldn't
ever.
And now I paid good money to see this band live, and instead I'm watching them through a phone. I could have watched them through a phone at home.
So all the people in Blake's life express their concerns for this marriage. So Curleen says that she has issues with Jasmine's unwillingness to work. Rita still says she has doubts, but they are starting to notice a connection. So even Rita said, like, I feel like I saw something there. Like
today. Yeah. On the day they got married, I noticed there might have been a spark.
So Jasmine's mom, Mira, thinks that their worlds are different, and this is likely going to cause conflict in the future. So I don't know. Mama knows best. I don't know.
She does, but she had some of that European smugness to it too. Like us in Europe, we do things way different. By different, I mean better. They also thought that she was going to get shot immediately upon arriving at LA too. So this is the parents.
That's odd too, because it's like she lives 10 minutes away from the other daughter, right? So it's like, shouldn't they be concerned for her as well?
I don't know. Maybe they don't love her. I don't know.
So I was going to ask, how long do you think they'll last? Or do you think they're in it for the long haul?
No, I don't see them lasting very long.
No.
Year and a half.
I don't either.
I'd say year and a half.
I would say as long as it takes for her to be to get a green card and not have to be with him anymore. That would be my guess.
That scans.
Yeah. All right. Who do you want to talk about next?
Oh, man. So, all right, let's lean into the ugly fashion and go with Annie and Robert.
I was going to say Robert and Annie. Oh, because Robert's fashion was so god awful. Like, I could kind of a little bit see what he was going for, but the execution was just awful.
I don't see what he was going for. Like, there's nothing with a bright red jacket and black pants that doesn't say anything but the help. Like, those are bellhops. What are you doing?
Yes,
Like,
I wrote the exact same thing. I said bellboys or movie theater ushers.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote.
It's the help. It's definitely how do you know where the service people are? They're wearing the bright red blazers, like always, wherever you go.
Yeah, it was weird. Circus performers, like who's the guy? The
ringmaster.
It was like that without the tails, right?
And the top hat. He needed to have a top hat.
Yeah. Or like a performance monkey, like somewhere in there.
Organ grinder, yeah, type thing.
Yeah, that's what I think a performance monkey would wear. Yeah, his fashion was awful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's their wedding day, and Annie is super excited. She has a friend that actually came out. Even though the rest of her family couldn't be there, her friend Noemi is there to help her with her hair and makeup.
Oh, and she came from DR? It wasn't like a local friend that she had picked up along the way? I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I got the feeling that it was.
Okay.
Yeah, because she says she's feeling down. Her family can't come to the wedding. And Annie just doesn't even like Robert's family. She doesn't even care that they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But it ends up that they didn't invite porn granny or grandpa to the wedding anyway.
Because
she said it's
that
bad
made
energy.
sense. I mean, what's-his-face was still there. The brother was still there.
Yeah,
And
Kenny.
there was another sister besides Robin that was helping her get ready?
I feel like Robert has a lot of siblings. Like, he is one of 10, I want to say.
Okay.
I'm exaggerating that number for real, but, like, if you told me he had 9 brothers and sisters, I would believe you.
If he has 5 kids and his brother has 6 kids, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if his dad had, like, 7 or 8, you know?
So Robert says that this is his first marriage, so he's scared about the commitment. It's like, oh my gosh.
Like, kids are commitment. Like, I'm sorry. But somebody with 5 kids is like, this marriage seems like too much commitment. I'm like, does it? Like, you have kids. Aren't you?
I don't know.
I don't know. I guess if you aren't part of your kid's life, it's not so much of a commitment, but that's just, no.
Right. Because, I mean, I was going to say, it only seems like he sees the one.
Right.
And he has, like, 4 other kids, so.
I wonder how old they are.
I don't know.
And also, I mean, come on. But the other 3? The other 3 baby mamas be like, yes, you can put my child in this stupid reality show while you hook up. They'd be like, no, get out of here.
I don't know, but I could also see them being like, well, how much money are we going to get for it?
Right. And he would be like, I ain't got no money. And then they'd be like, no.
What, do you think money's falling out of my
I
ass?
money's falling out of my ass.
That's probably what he would say.
I mean, he doesn't get that much money. He split it like 5 ways.
Right, definitely. So this is point where he gets his hair done, and him and Bryson are getting matching cornrows. And then Robert's all excited. He's like, oh, Bryson's so cute. He's like a little mini me. And it's like, no. Bryson's actually really cute.
Yeah, you not so much.
Yes, he does not look like you that much.
Right.
It's for the best.
Right. Yeah, he should be thankful. You know, he looks very cute, and thankfully nothing like me.
Yeah. So people are looking at Robert's clothes, and this is what they have to say about it. Them's look like Patrick Swayze pants. I was like, I don't really know what that means.
I think it means they're tight and you can see his junk.
Oh, okay.
That would be my guess.
So if your male cousins are saying that, I feel like that's not a good thing.
No, probably not. No.
No.
I mean, when you're getting married, the phrase "see your junk" probably shouldn't come into the picture. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
But his cousins had some interesting turns of phrase that I hadn't quite heard before. Patrick Swayze pants, yes.
Yep, bubble guts.
Bubble guts. I like bubble guts. Clearly he meant like butterflies, but I kind of like bubble guts better. It is more accurate.
Okay. That's kind of funny because I've heard bubble guts before too, and it does not mean butterflies.
Oh.
It means like diarrhea.
That is different.
Yeah, because it means like your stomach is unsettled, so you have like the bubble guts, and so it's like digestive distress, basically.
Mm. I just always called that the shits, so I don't know.
So I don't know. That's how I interpreted what he was saying. Yeah. Robert at this point is trying to drum up drama. And so at this point on, he's just annoying the hell out of me.
Uh-huh. Agreed.
He's saying, oh, it's not too late for me to change my mind. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Would you just stop? If
I
you're
don't
going to change your
know.
mind, just do it already.
I don't know what I'm feeling. I don't know. This is dumb. Especially,
this is for life. I don't know.
It definitely got worse. Like after we knew the final resolution of what happened, which we'll talk about in a bit, then it was like, oh, you're. It was even more lame. It retroactively made everything he did during this part of the segment worse.
He annoys me. So we go back to Annie, and she is relaxing with some champagne. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you got to get started.
Taking the edge off.
Okay, so they hadn't talked about the actual plans of their wedding, except for Robert. Remember, he had that kind of argument with her where he was insisting they were going to get married at a courthouse.
Mm-hmm.
But then where the heck were they getting married? It looked like a little like chapel like in Vegas or something.
Yes.
That you would just like do like a drive-in, drive-out wedding or something.
It definitely looked like that, but was clearly in Florida. But it definitely had the had the vibe of a Vegas wedding chapel.
Right. Definitely did. So I was kind of confused. And I was confused that those places exist outside of Vegas, I guess.
Well, I don't know.
I've never seen one anywhere else.
I don't. If it was going to exist outside of Vegas anywhere, like outside of Miami, does seem to be a thing. Like, because I mean, because that's where you get the most like international. Like, those are the two cities that have like vacationers. You know, like international vacationers. Mm-hmm. I don't know why international has anything to do with it, but I don't know. It just seems like passing through. I could see New Orleans having one. I don't know. It all depends. It was like Vegas only had them because of the loose like marriage laws in Nevada. Like you could get a license and get married the same day.
Right.
So
yeah,
it has nothing to do with like the gambling or anything like that.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird place. But I mean, one step ahead of a courthouse, maybe.
Yeah, one step up from a courthouse. I don't know, actually.
Yeah.
In terms of like making a bigger deal out of it, yes. In terms of like classiness, not so much.
Yeah.
It's pretty much on
I
par.
think so. Right. So Robert's being dramatic. He's like, I can't do this. I can't do this right now.
Right at the objecting part.
Yeah. And then, of course, they cut away to commercial.
Of course they did. Get
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun. Right. But then he's lame. And it turns out he only can't do this because he never gave her a proper ring. And now he has to get down on one knee and give her the right engagement ring that he had purchased before. And they continue to get married. Lame.
Yes. So on the one hand, like, good for them, because I did find that whole conversation about, you know, him never giving her engagement ring. It's like, you know, come on, dude, don't be cheap. Mm-hmm. And it looked like a nice ring. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was real, but it looked nice.
Sure.
And, you know, who cares? You know, it's better than the dollar ring that he claimed he was going to get her at the very beginning. Mm-hmm. But that whole drama stuff is where you like lose me.
Yeah.
It's like, this is your wedding. You don't need to make the other person feel anxious about things. Like, what are you doing? Stop it.
See, yeah. Remember when we were getting married and you thought I was going to break up with you for a second? That was
That's
fun.
the worst.
That's the worst.
Yeah, you thought that was real funny. Okay.
Way worse than smashing a cake in somebody's face.
That is true. Yeah, instant annulment. Okay, so we found another thing that would be on our instant annulment list.
Yes. Pretending you're about to back out of the wedding.
So both of them are crying, and so it must mean that they love each other.
Must be real. Must be real.
All right.
I don't know that I've ever, not once say ever. On this show, a lot of people cry at their own weddings, and I don't know that I've seen that very much. I've seen the bride almost always cries, but I've only seen the groom cry like, I don't know. I would say 15% of the time does the groom actually cry.
I don't know. I feel like half and half. I don't know. But most of the weddings that I've seen have been you write your own vows. And so I feel like if you're just repeating something someone else tells you to say, you're probably less likely to cry than if you wrote your own vows.
Maybe.
That would be my guess.
Maybe. Most of the weddings I've been to have been Catholic, and it's very much like, here's the script, repeat after me, don't fuck up.
Right.
And you're like, with this ring, I thee wed.
True.
Right? That's it, right? Yeah.
All right. Who do you want to talk about next?
All right, why don't we wrap up the weddings and then move on to the non-weddings. So the last wedding we have is Tania and Syngin.
Oh, goodness. I had so much to say about them. I have so many notes.
Mine went into the back. Oh, I almost have 2 full pages. Wow, look at that. Okay.
Yeah, I have a ton of notes on them. So 2 weeks before the wedding, Syngin been sad and depressed, but it's specifically been triggered by the soulmate comment. And so Syngin says he wishes he had more time. So he decides to try clear the air by having a conversation with Tania where he tells her that he feels alone and confused and he's wondering why he came out there.
And I don't know. Tania said some stuff, but I'll be honest, I was distracted. I couldn't pay attention to what she was saying because it was like, again, like the robot words. It's like, yes, those are all words that people say, but when you put them together, I don't know that they make a whole lot of sense. But I was actually distracted by how nice the she shed was coming along.
Oh, really? I didn't even notice the she shed, probably because I was distracted. She was wearing a new pink shirt.
It was a different pink shirt. Yes, I will give you that.
And it was a different shade of pink? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was like, wait a second, this is not the same pink shirt.
But it was, because it was really weird because it didn't quite match the wall, and you could tell, like, the camera lighting was trying to get the white balance right between the pink wall and her pink shirt, and it just wasn't quite working.
Oh my gosh, she really does like the color pink.
Yeah, which is funny because she doesn't wear it at the wedding. So, yeah.
What I pretty much got was that she was just saying, like, babe, while he's, like, telling her, and then she's, like, trying to hold his hand. Mm-hmm. So I feel like she didn't really, I don't know, offer much support or understanding other than, babe.
That's pretty much it.
But she says that it felt good to be truthful with him, so pretty much she's defending her soulmate remark.
Yes.
Which is where you're just like, oh my God, would you just, for a minute, put yourself in his shoes and don't be like, I'm glad I told you, and try to be like all defensive about it. I mean, she wasn't being like aggressive defensive, but she was trying to justify why she did it to like say to him, you know, I'm not being the bad guy here. Like, I wanted to tell you the truth. Even though you could tell his heart was broken. And, you know, that's why, her coming out with this is the only reason why she's not mad. He's upset. And when she said that, I was like, you are such an asshole.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I'm not mad that you're upset because otherwise I would have been mad that you're upset if I hadn't told you something that was so completely soul crushing.
It's just, because she just changes her story. Like, oh, that was something that was really weighing on me. Bullshit, no, it wasn't. Like, you didn't even think, like, when what's her face, Miss Cleo, whoever they were talking to, like, said it, right? She was like, I don't really know. I don't know if I'm getting that soulmate. It wasn't something that was, like, weighing on her soul and it was crushing her and she needed to get it off her chest. It was just like, she didn't think about what she was saying. She said something shitty and, like, then she didn't move on. Like, but they come to Syngin finally kind of comes to the place where he's just like, yeah, we just think soulmate means something different. We don't.
Yeah. I was like, I guess that's the only, if you'd have to come to that resolution to really move past this.
Yes.
Is just to accept, like, okay, we're just not seeing eye to eye. We're going to agree to disagree. But in this case, what we're disagreeing about isn't who the soulmate is so much as what soulmate means to each other.
Right. So at that point, I just made this noise.
That is a very weird sound, but I support it.
It's like, because he's just like, well, like soulmates are like, with the souls that have mated to make mates of soul, and they're soulmates, And it's like, that doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
Those aren't even words.
None of this makes any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
But he believes that they're meant to be, which motivates him to keep trying. He does question if they're compatible. And so she kind of says, oh, I think I just need to give him some time to heal. But, she's confident that they're going to be together because of how they met. Okay, now this is where I'm like,
oh my goodness.
This story makes no sense.
It doesn't make
She was like, I knew I was supposed to be in that bar, like his bar, right? I just knew it. I knew that something told me I had to be there. So I got turned away. And I was like, no, I am going to go to this bar. I was meant to be in this bar because something cosmic's going to happen. First of all, no. She was probably some drunk girl who's trying to get into a bar. Yeah. And the people at the door were like, no, you're too drunk. You can't be in here. No, you can't tell me what to do. I'm coming into this bar. I need a drink. Blah. That's the real story. There is no cosmic connection. This is like, you know, I know she's not white, but white girl wasted. Like, I'm going to go to this bar. You can't tell me what to do. I'll fight you, bouncer guy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that is exactly what happened. It is. You couldn't have made more accurate with that voice and everything had you been there and recorded it. I don't know how you got it, but that's
my goodness,
precisely what happened.
She's so ridiculous. And so, yeah, she somehow takes that incident into, this is my soulmate, and now I need to make both our lives miserable because it was meant to be. Oh, goodness. Yeah. So she does want a future with him. She wants to explore the future, the world. She wants to have kids with him, even though she thinks her soulmate is someone else.
Right.
Like, oh my.
And it's funny because as soon as she mentioned kids, like he was all on board, like feeling sad. Oh, the soulmate. Now we belong together. And she was like, kids. You could kind of see him be like,
oh God.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that part. Yeah.
I feel like he just needs to go get a secret vasectomy at this point.
Yeah, it's probably.
Have they developed the male birth control pill? I feel like that was in the works a while ago.
They've been trying that, and the other thing now that they've been working on is basically like a male IUD that kind of instead of like you know snipping that you like they have like a plug that they can put into the tube to block the sperm from coming up. So that would be good for many people.
Yeah, especially him, who maybe wants to be a little bit more low-key and discreet about the fact that, you know, he's shooting blanks.
Yes, right. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, because he doesn't want to anger her, but he also doesn't want to have kids.
He's not totally convinced that he never wants to have kids. He just doesn't have kids now.
Don't they say this? It's like, you know, why are you going to say that you just want to have kids? It's like, don't you want to, like, assess who your partner is? And, like, I want to have kids with you. That's
true.
So, I don't know. I just kind of feel like he may think that he doesn't want to have kids, but maybe it's really he doesn't want to have kids with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she seems like she would be a really terrible partner to have kids with.
Yeah, I would.
She just seems really selfish.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you take care of the kids. I'm going to my witch doctor retreat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could totally see
that.
What,
you're not going to support me in my witch doctory? You must hate women.
Yes, immediately to hate women. Women are not the default child caregivers. Like, you haven't watched a kid in 3 months. What are you talking about?
Right. I could see her throwing all that in his face. So I just kind of feel like, I don't know, she does not seem like the ideal partner to want to have to raise kids with. So
no, but Syngin's feeling kind of nervous because, you know, this possible divorce thing, you know, his family's got a 500-year streak going.
Okay. I was like,
come on.
Is he just making up some number like they just have never had a divorce? Or was it like 500 years ago, great-great-great-great-great-grandfather?
Right. There was that one.
He got divorced.
Back in, 1487. We had that one divorce.
That was the last family divorce. It's like no divorces since. It's been how many days since a divorce?
Right. Well, and it's one of those things, too, that like when you go back 500 years, everybody has the same ancestors. Like, because if you go back 500 years, if you branch out the family trees, right? You know, I have two parents and 4 grandparents and 8 great-grandparents. If you extrapolate that, it's literally the entire population of the globe at the time 500 years ago.
Right.
Like everybody's pretty much got the same family tree back that far.
Yeah. So he feels a lot of pressure to not get divorced because he doesn't want to ruin the family name. I was like, all right.
No.
I don't know. If you thought this was going to be an issue, maybe you shouldn't have picked this partner. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. I feel like if you're going into the wedding being like, I don't know about divorce, like, you probably shouldn't be going into that wedding at this juncture.
No. So they are having a backyard Airbnb DIY wedding. So all of the trendy things. Yeah. Okay. I think Tania has a serious issue.
She definitely does. But before we get there, is there any chance in hell they actually told this B&B person that they were having a wedding at their place?
Probably not, I'm going to guess.
I'm guessing totally
Is she not allowed to?
No, I mean, it's one of those things that's considered like, you know, good practice. Because a lot of times there's all kinds of stories I've heard from people who own B&Bs where it's like, hey, this is a 2-bedroom place. And then they like look at their ring and like, why are there 40 people in there? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I told you couldn't have parties. And they're like, we're not having a party. And they're like, so I could totally...
I feel like there are rules because I feel like I also heard of situations where like porns get randomly shot at random Airbnbs. So I don't know if there's something in the language about like specific events and specific events of filming, which, you know, their wedding is getting filmed for TV.
Not porn, which I was scared with for a second, but we'll get there.
Okay, Tanya's problem, I mean, amongst all of them, is just her unrealistic view of labor and how much time things takes. I mean, look at the she shed. You know, she's just like, oh, we could just like get this done in like a night. You know, we'll just like pull an all-nighter and finish fixing this up. It's like 2 months later, it's still like barely better than it was. And she kind of had the same vision, like, oh yeah, we just need a couple of hours to make this exactly the way I'm thinking of. And she's like, wait, why is this like taking so much longer?
As she like carefully like strips and puts each place setting flower individually in the thing with the marbles. It's like, why is it? Because she didn't even get there on time. It took her hours longer to get there than she thought it would take. How does like hours longer? That's like just to arrive.
Yeah, she always seems to be late to stuff. I mean, she was late to picking him up from the airport because she's setting up. I think it's just like a problem. She just doesn't know how long tasks really take realistically, and she's late to things all the time. Her friend said something, though, that I was kind of like, really? Her friend was just like, oh, I thought she would be farther along. Like, usually Tanya's so organized. It's like, once again, really?
I think people sometimes confused organized with having a lot of plans. Like,
yes, and she does have a lot of plans. She does have a lot of plans
and ideas, and she wants to get all this stuff done, but she's not particularly organized about it. Seems like Jart was really making things happen.
Oh yeah, he was back. He was the greatest friend. He was like, yeah, I can do whatever you want. And then Syngin finds out that there's no photographer, so Jart's like, yep, I'll be the photographer. I'll take 1,000 pictures, and you can keep the ones you like. So I was like, yeah, we all need friends like that.
Yeah, but they're still putting together the stuff.
Everything.
Tanya's still in her t-shirt and shorts, like when people are getting there, and they're like, "You all have to wait in the house."
I don't think she knows what "pep in your step" means too. She keeps on saying it, and it means different things at different times. She's like, "Okay, we need to put a little pep in our step." It's like, what do you mean this time? She basically means everybody needs to move faster.
Yes, that's what I thought "pep in your step" meant.
She said it some other time, and I feel like...
Well, she said it when she... No, she did, because she said it when she was drunk to Syngin, and she meant it then to be like, act more happy.
Yeah.
So she does mean different things at different times. But move faster is the one that I associate with that phrase.
Sure. I think she just likes things that rhyme.
Sure.
Okay, so what did you think of Syngin and the... what do you call it? The groom's party?
The groomsmen?
Because they call it the bridal party, and what do you call the dudes?
I thought the bridal party was both the men and the women. Like, it's the bridesmaids and the groomsmen together are the bridal party.
Okay. So the groomsmen, what did you think of their outfits?
You should not wear belts and suspenders.
Okay, so they're wearing like these camel-colored pants, white shirts,
black
like
belts,
sky blue, baby blue suspenders that are really skinny for some reason too.
Yes, well they
and
were,
then a black belt.
Yeah, they were okay. So I'm not a big suspender person. I'm definitely a belt over suspender person. But if you're going to have a wedding, I much prefer the suspenders that button on. Which is harder to do because you have to like get special buttons sewn into your pants. But like, I'm not a huge fan of the clip-on suspenders because the clip-on suspenders really aren't bearing the brunt of holding your pants up because the clips are usually not that strong. They're like purely decorative.
Yeah.
But you're still not supposed to wear suspenders and a belt. It's like wearing flip-flops and socks. Like, don't do that.
Whatever it was, it looked weird. I didn't like it.
They were hard to
Like,
see
you
the
guys look like
suspenders.
weird.
They were like very, very, very faded blue. Very skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look like weird lumberjacks. I just wasn't about it. I was confused by their outfits. Yeah, and it didn't even match what Tania was wearing. So Tania says she likes to break boundaries as much as she can. So she's going to wear like a black lace dress over pink, but you couldn't really tell it was pink because of all the black lace.
Right. It looked like beige to me. It almost looked like a nude
It looked
colored.
like a prom dress.
Yeah. And then there was a huge amount of tulle at the bottom of it for some reason.
Yes, there was.
I didn't know what that was about. But, okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, Tania did tell us the actual reason she picked that dress, and it's because it made her boobs look good.
Hey, at least she's keeping it real. Like, I appreciate that. Yeah, I would say they didn't make them look saggy, which I guess if that's the alternative.
That's the way they've looked kind of the rest of the season, so.
Yeah. But I also want to say she maybe wore a bra this time.
If she didn't,
I don't
like,
know.
the dress was doing more support work than anything else she's ever worn all season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But then did you see her mom's dress too?
Was it pink?
Did you see Missy?
Was it pink?
It was
all I could see was
yeah, it
Missy's
was like
boob
a
tattoo.
pink
That's
or a
all I
red.
could see.
Yes, and I was going to say she had like the sweetheart neckline and then the boobs were like kind of the same thing where she didn't quite fill it, so it was like taking on a life of its own, like away from her body. Yeah.
And then the sister Tania was not Tania.
Tiana.
I can't remember to put the I. She was like
I
all
know,
the way
right?
up. Like she was covered up. Everything was covered.
Yeah. So they're starting the ceremony part and they're video chatting with his parents and Syngin gets emotional and cries.
Mm-hmm.
Tania at some point starts crying. And then for some reason he does his vow on his knee.
I didn't know what that was. Yeah.
I didn't know what that was either. I don't know. I feel like when people propose, it's kind of like that idea that you're trying to be humble before them.
Mm-hmm.
But then at a wedding, I feel like no one's supposed to be like sitting down because you're supposed to be equals in this marriage.
Sure.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it kind of fits the way if the marriage keeps going, that's the way it's going to be. He's going to have to be kneeling because she's going to be in charge.
Right? Yeah, I feel like this is indicative of things. So they're saying their vows, and Syngin throws out, because he's a classy guy like this, about how they met during a one-night stand, but he knew it was going to be more. You don't freaking say that at your wedding. That is not classy.
They both dropped bombs in their wedding vows that they should not have been dropping.
gosh.
Like, what? Just,
Yes.
Yeah. That's like at my college graduation, like the class president gave a speech and said something about like, and I went to a really nerdy school that was not a big party school. It was super nerdy. And like she gave a speech that was something like, oh, like all those times when we were like, passed out drunk on the bathroom. And we were like, what school did you go to? Because none of us went to that school. And why did you think
neighboring community college she was going
and why did
party
you think
with?
that was what you wanted to hear about on graduation? God.
Yeah, and then he also says she brings out the best in him, and I was like, oh, hell no.
That's the best?
No, she does not. Yeah, if this is the best, no.
I hope not. Yeah, let's hope not.
Respectfully disagree. I know. So then it comes to her vows, and the first thing she says is she promises to call him when she gets home drunk.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why would you put that in your wedding vows? Yes, we know why you put that because we've the thing in the show. But like, do the people at the wedding know what she's even referencing? Like, it's terrible. Just
I don't know.
Terrible.
I mean, if she truly follows through with that, that's kind of commendable because it's like going back to the whole like making some compromises.
Right. I don't know. It was very close to like a Bart Simpson-esque. Her whole vows were, I can't promise I'll try, but I'll try to try.
Yeah. So then instead of exchanging rings, oh goodness.
Okay, this is where I got nervous for a second because like they said that they're like, rather than do rings, and somebody like brings out a table and like
chairs,
a table, and I couldn't tell what was on. And I guess now knowing what it was like hand sanitizer, but it looked like a pump of stuff. And I was like, are they going to have sex in front of everyone right now?
Oh, God. Seriously? I did not think that.
For like half a second. What? Especially remembering that, like, remember the first time we saw Tanya, she was setting up a sex corner for Syngin. They brought out this table.
No.
I was like, I didn't, just for a second, I saw the hand sanitizer and was like, oh my God, is that lube? And I was like, no. And they're like, then they told me what it was. I was like, oh, thank God.
Oh, gosh. I thought they were going to do some weird thing with, like, rings on a string or something and, like, some kind of weird ceremonial thing. I wasn't really expecting tattoos. I mean, I think it kind of goes along with their personalities, but I kind of felt bad for Syngin. That's, like, literally the first tattoo he gets is the one
seems like
on his wedding day.
Yeah.
In front of everybody, watching you get a tattoo.
Yeah, I don't have any tattoos, so I don't know, like, how bad that is.
I don't either.
Or which
is very rare.
I know, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not have any level of commitment long enough for a tattoo. I have no confidence that anything I would like now, I would like next year. So I can't do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I have one thing. I think the things that I wanted when I was in my late 20s, I probably would have still been okay with. But I think I just wouldn't have cared, you know? It's like, it's there.
Yeah, that's what it ends up
Not
being.
like super thrilled it's there. Yeah, but they get the Sagittarius symbol because it represents travel. And I was like, okay, so already this to me shows how one-sided their relationship is. Because let's be real here. Like, because she says, like, oh, we got Sagittarius symbol because it represents travel because, you know, we met while traveling.
No, we met while you were traveling.
You were traveling. Syngin was home.
Right. So it could have been like, in order for us to be together, we both had to travel. Like, she could have said it like that. And like...
Yeah. Or that we both enjoy traveling.
Right.
Or we both had to travel to be together because, like, she had to travel there and then he had to travel here. But
yes.
Yeah, that's not what she said.
No, she said, yeah, we met while traveling. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I could not.
Everything's always about you.
I could not possibly fathom getting a zodiac sign tattooed on my finger.
No.
As a symbol of, oh my God. Like, I thought they were like tattoos. I literally thought they were going to get black
names,
like bands, like around their finger.
Oh, I thought they were going to get each other's names.
No.
Or initials or something.
Yeah, I could see doing like a Celtic design all the way around your finger as like a ring. Yeah. I could see that. I wouldn't want to do it like at the wedding. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I do not trust. That's my other problem I have with tattoos. I don't trust you. I don't care how good you are. I do not trust this person right here to draw a straight line on my finger. That is, you don't even have a ruler.
I feel like the guy that does the tattoos at your house, like that guy, he used to do prison tattoos. Like that's always my take on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely do not trust in this low light environment.
Right. Yeah, because they only had candlelight. A lot of candles, but not enough to really light the way there.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's going to be crooked. It's going to be like a bendy arrow. Like, oh.
Okay, so the other two couples we have, three couples. I forgot. Mm-hmm. Yep. No weddings for the three. So who do you want to start off with?
Let's start off with the... I'm going to go from least interesting to most interesting for these ones. The least interesting was Michael and Juliana.
Oh, okay. That's because Juliana wasn't even in there.
Yeah, Michael and Sarah.
Yeah, it was mostly Michael and Sarah. So this is all filmed a week after the wedding. We got a cute little clip of Max and Cece like having a little sibling tiff about Cece getting trapped in the back of the car because Max didn't keep the door open. That, I think, was the highlight of their segments. I think it was. Kids are terrible with doors, and I don't know what's wrong with them. Because they either do that, or like they close the door on somebody who's walking in immediately behind them. Or they walk out and just leave it wide open. And you're like, what are you doing? Yeah. So they talk about Halloween because apparently Halloween just happened. So they have to talk about Juliana and how she dressed up as a zombie for Halloween. Mm-hmm. And then Michael says, oh, but she looked like a hot zombie. And they just put the camera on Cece. She does not look amused. She's like, stop objectifying women, Dad. Jeez.
She was a badass zombie who would have eaten your brains.
Yeah.
Please do not have sex with the zombies. That is not going to go well.
Yeah. Gross. So Sarah, they're talking about the wedding. They're talking about the prenup. And Sarah says, like, oh, that's so weird. It was just like our wedding where it rained before and after, but it was perfectly clear the day of. Like, Okay, moving on. So then Sarah finally asks about the prenup, and then Michael says that Juliana got really upset. It put a dark cloud over everything, and, you know, Sarah sided with Juliana. She was like, yeah, she had a right to be upset. But she's still concerned about Max and Cece. Oh, I know, right?
She totally was goaded by production to bring it up, and then now she's like, can you please let me say on camera that I'm okay with that, with the prenup? Can you please do that for me?
Yeah. Yeah, but Sarah, her only concern through all of this is, you know, is Max and Cece going to be provided for? I think Sarah's more so thinking about, like, if Juliana takes everything you have, takes you to the cleaners during a divorce, like, that's taking away from Max and Cece. That's what she was thinking.
And so I thought it was like two things. Is like, one is that, and even, I don't know, she's not going to get more than half, and half of Michael's money is plenty. It's still fine. Yeah. So one, and two, the other issue is, what if he dies? And Michael had a good point. Is like, that's estate planning. That's not a prenup situation. Like. So
yeah, he says the kids will be fine. You know, he has a will.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, exactly.
That's really not an issue.
All right. So
that was it for them.
That was it.
You're right. Not a whole lot going on with them.
They kind of ended on not a down note, but like a weird, that was the last scene they had. And it was just like.
Yeah, it's like,
scene?
I thought that we wouldn't see them at all because they had their wedding last time, and so it's like, okay, they had their wedding, they're done.
Yeah, sometimes you get
don't need this extra.
Sometimes you get a honeymoon scene from some people.
Yeah,
but
right.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving up the more interesting scale is Angela and Michael.
Oh, goodness. So they go to the marriage registrar to see what it would take to get married. And more so, Angela wants to see what it takes to get married. Because it doesn't seem like she trusts Michael's word. I mean, Michael seems to have been telling her, but she's like, no, I need to hear it for myself. Because that's just how Angela is.
Yep. And she's like, I'm trying to do more listening.
Oh, God. Yeah. So Angela asked the registrar if he thinks that a marriage in Nigeria gives them a better chance to get a visa. And I'm thinking, why would he know that?
I thought the same thing.
He's literally in charge of marriage certificates. Like, he
has nothing to do with immigration.
Doesn't care about visas.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he does in case someone's trying to, like, you know, come from out of country and get married there. But he doesn't know anything about, like, American visas.
Granting.
What the U.S. State Department does in terms of visas. Like, he didn't know that.
Right. Yeah, that was weird. And so Angela tells, the registrar tells Angela that he thinks that this is the best option for them, and so she agrees to register. So by registering, it means that the next time she comes that they can get married. And then she brings up the whole time isn't on their side because of the K-1 visa denial. And, you know, it's like kind of going back to what time? Like, she says, like, oh, we're running out of time. Running out of time until what?
That egg dries up. Until that egg dries up. That she's only got the one egg left, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I really do think that's what she's talking about in terms of time is both, because they still seem to both think that they can have a family.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, she's like, listen, this is my retirement time. Like, I'm done. I can't be waiting around 10 more years.
Yeah. So she says that they'll plan for Nigeria, but hope for America in terms of where to have the wedding. So, yeah. And then Angela, she just thinks that everybody's trying to keep them apart.
So, okay. What did you think about, because I have my opinions, this witness thing that the registrar brought up? Like, you have to have a witness from America. You have to have a witness or else the marriage is rendered invalid.
That seems really weird. Why does it matter?
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out. And I also, like, I had a couple thoughts on it. I was like, I kind of think it's just drama they're pumping up to make it so like next time they're on, they can be like, who's gonna come to Nigeria with me, huh? Because like what's the requirements for this witness? He was just like someone close to you. It's like, can I just like pick a person off the street? Yeah, this is my best friend right here. Boom, they're gonna witness.
Yeah, right.
Or one of them, or it has to be somebody from America. So any of the cameramen that you're dragging around, like,
yeah,
they're from America,
right? So yeah, I don't know how that's verifiable. Like, how can they verify that this is like a valid relationship connection, like that whoever she brings over, her witness, is really connected to her? I don't know. I just think that's too difficult to verify.
Right. So, I don't know. So they did that. They registered. They kind of have their plan. Nobody's really happy about it, which probably means it's not the worst plan. And,
right.
It's like a good compromise is when nobody's really happy at the end of it. So then they go back to the airport, right?
Yep. And then Michael has a surprise for her when she's leaving. He bought her necklaces with their names on it. She's
even bad about the surprises. She's like, don't make me close my eyes. No, I hate it. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I know, right?
Just shut up and close your eyes.
I was kind of confused because their necklaces seemed more like made for the opposite gender.
That's
like,
definitely
hers
true.
Michael was like all blocky, like it looked like something a rapper would wear.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, just capital letters, Michael.
Michael, yeah.
And then hers was like Angela in like a scripty, like cursive situation.
And it's standard one. I know, I see those necklaces all the time. Like it has your name. They were clearly necklaces meant to buy your own name. Like, so yes.
Yeah, right.
So, because his came in a pink box. The Angela one came in a pink box, and the Michael one came in a blue box. But yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, well, definitely they're not custom made. So yeah, that's probably why they looked that way. Yep. And so Michael says something I've heard him say a couple times before, but I'm confused by it. He says that Angela makes him a man. And I was like, how? She's like emasculating you all the time.
It's true. I would say, like, it's like a weird thing. I don't know. Like, she gave me my manhood is like, it sounds like she took away his virginity or something. But, he did the BJ for real, so.
I know. I was going to say, he is not innocent. Oh, goodness. Okay, so spoiler alert, we found out that a couple weeks ago that they did get married in Nigeria. But literally right after that happened, then we have this travel ban situation. So the only way that he's going to be able to come over at this point is if he gets a waiver, similar to Omar and Avery, their situation, because Omar and Avery are married. But because Omar is on a travel ban country, they have to like get a waiver. And so it's not looking very good for them.
Yeah, we don't know how easy the waivers are going to be to get coming from Nigeria. Because that's because before it was like, travel ban countries were relatively small, and Nigeria is huge. Like Nigeria is really, really, it's a huge amount of people. So I don't see how they could possibly be as strict with the waivers coming from Nigeria. Mm-hmm. But, we'll see. It still makes their road a lot harder.
Right. So I was going to ask, how long do you think this couple is going to be together?
I don't know. Because, our working theory was, Angela was just his ticket into the U.S. And she's still his best ticket into the U.S.
Yeah, that's true. It's not like he has better chances with anybody else at this point.
Right, because if it's somebody that I was married to her before this travel ban came into effect, that's going to be more likely for a waiver than anybody else you get together with.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. At some point, though, I feel like she is going to get annoyed with having to wait for him. Mm-hmm. And she's going to want a boy toy closer to her home. Or she's just not going to be able to afford giving him money because it seems like she gives him money.
Right.
Because he obviously can't work because she won't allow him to. And so it's much more difficult because she's going to have to pay for two people to support instead of, paying for him while he's kind of sharing resources. Like if he was living with her, it's different than if she's having to pay for his place in Nigeria.
Place and that's true.
So I don't know. I think depending on how the waiver goes, I give it like 2 years maybe, if that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like she has a whole lot of other options.
Right. That's true. He might
maybe
though.
they'll be okay.
He might though. I could see him, getting up to some good in Nigeria.
Gosh. Okay. So that leaves us with Mike and Natalie.
Yes, this was the juicy one.
I want to know what the heck is going on.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so
Mike's been back for weeks and he's just trying to keep himself busy. And he says that they have not talked since he's been back. So then he randomly video chats her.
So, thing I noticed in this video chat is we've talked about it before. A lot of times when we have video chats, they have the person who's with the camera crew like use their thumb to cover up the other person's image. And our theory for that was because you can see the cameraman in the image. They didn't do that this time. You couldn't see the cameraman in, Mike's cell phone camera.
Right.
So, did Natalie know she was being recorded?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I would think so. I feel like that's, I don't know, is there some kind of law or rule about like disclosing if you're being recorded?
Depends on the state. I didn't look up Washington, but I'm going to look it up right now. Like in Maryland's what they call a two consent state, where both people have to know they're being recorded, but other states are not two consent states. And only one of the people on the conversation needs to know the conversation's being recorded. Yeah.
So Natalie, she just cuts to the chase and says she, hasn't been thinking about him. And I just felt like the beginning of their conversation was incredibly frustrating because it was like, so how do you feel? No, how do you feel? Do you still love me? I don't know. Do you still love me? And no one wanted to say it first because they were like scared of the rejection and that the other person would say something different.
Yeah. Yeah, it did seem that. I thought it was weird that, like, I don't know. I thought Natalie's, like, positioning on the phone was weird. It was like she was answering the phone boobs first. Like, it was just like...
she was, like, trying to be seductive.
Yeah.
Like, hey.
Yeah, she was definitely like, look at my boobs.
What have you been missing? Yeah. So then he kind of starts the ball rolling by said that, he just doesn't know because, she's cut him deep. And then she says that she did nothing bad other than...
Yeah, but the implication was the only thing she did wrong was not immediately say, I love you that one time.
Oh, yes. Right. And so she just wants him to be more responsible. And I don't know, and then Mike says he needs her to be more serious. And it's like, well, aren't those kind of like in the
same ballpark? Yeah.
Skill set? Yeah. So you're kind of wanting the same things from each other. So Natalie says he's playing a role that he's such a good guy and that she can't rely on him and doesn't trust him. And then she brings up something that happened off camera. And then Mike almost immediately gets upset when she starts like going on about this.
She was like, you're mad at me because of this one thing I did on camera, where right before that there were all these things, moments behind the screen, and I don't, because of what you did, I don't trust you. At which point Mike hangs up real fast.
Oh yeah, he's like upset about it, right? So I'm like, okay. So in this sense, kind of knowing that things went on that we didn't see, I definitely know that Natalie came off as this crazy religious, whatever. A little crazy. I mean, that's like, a little crazy. And Mike definitely gets the good edit in that he kind of just seems like this like lovable, like kind of funny, go with the flow, I don't know about the ancient alien, how that kind of fits in there, but he definitely tries to come off as like kind of the good guy. And so after
level-headed, just doing
right. So after hearing about this, would you say Team Mike or Team Natalie?
Ooh, so I was thinking about next week we're going to do our power rankings, and this was a really big plummet in the power rankings for Mike. So I was kind of Team Natalie because not only that, I think Natalie was even trying to cover up for him because she had mentioned it was something that happened off screen, and that's why she couldn't say I love you anymore. Because we had when she didn't say I love you in that interview, we're like, she used to say it all the time. She said it so many times. She said it before he got there. Why is it a big deal now? And it's like, well, something happened. And then even when the producers talked to her and interviewed her and asked her, she came up with other bullshit about like, well, you know, you can never be sure about blah, 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 blah. And she didn't like say, well, asshole did something. We still don't know what he did, by the way.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's something they supposedly eventually worked out because I can't remember if we had talked about this. We'll do a rumor roundup next week too. But I mean, she's in Washington now. So, I mean, they've reconciled something.
Mm-hmm.
Either she's out for a visit or, you know, she's out here for a visa. But I think she didn't get a good edit, but there's just been something that, like, about him that seems kind of shady to me.
Yeah. I mean, especially on this one, because this one, like, they were like, what happened off camera? And he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. This one was clearly, he knew exactly what the hell was going on and was just trying to cover it up. And so his defense mechanism is to act like he's been offended and he's all upset. Like, they asked him directly in an interview, like, what happened? And he was like, he just got up and was like, fuck this thing. Fuck this shit.
Yep. So, maybe we'll find out in the tell-all, but I don't know. If the tell-all has historically taught us anything is that we find out nothing.
We gotta find out something. Like, come on.
I don't know.
Like,
I know. I hope so, but I don't know. I'm not expecting a whole lot.
I mean, no, it goes two ways. Either they both don't want to say exactly what it is, or it ends up being something that's super lame and we're back on Team Mike. Like, but then why wouldn't he just say it? You know? Be like, I saw him throw recycling in the trash. Like, okay. That's okay.
All right. So, student of the week.
I actually put down Michael. Nigeria Michael. Because we have to.
Okay, I was gonna say.
We have to specify
because
he seems to, like I said, like we mentioned, like he seems to try to be doing his best to meet Angela at least halfway, right? So, like we know that he's been telling her the same stuff that the registrar was telling her, but she were to go talk to the registrar. So, okay, we'll go talk to the registrar, and he's like,
yeah,
this is the first season that he's kept her calm. And he kept her calm during this episode, and that's like
that is true.
Like they're not. There's
definitely been less abusive.
There's no cake in the face, right? There's no things, and but it's like it's not only is she calm, but she actually is more amenable to what he's saying. Like he's getting his way more, and she's not screaming at him, and he's just good for Michael for learning the ropes.
Well, I mean, I feel like it's not that hard. Just don't get BJs from anyone else.
And don't try to swindle her with cake.
Yeah, it seems like pretty basic stuff. My student of the week I had for Leo for prioritizing cake at a wedding but for real, offering to walk Anna down the aisle.
Good.
Yep.
All right, your class dunce?
My class dunce was Robert for making fake drama at his wedding. Trying to, like, psych people out. No, don't do that. Yeah, what about you?
Mine was Mike. Like I said, he went way down in the power rankings for just, like, clearly trying to manipulate the show. Like, which I guess the show has it coming because, you know, they manipulate people. So, but, like, you tried to outsmart the show and it didn't work. And so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to my life lesson. Don't expect to keep any kinds of secrets if you're on a television show.
Yeah.
Like, if something shady went down, like, you might as well just be upfront with it.
Right. Because it's going to come out either way. And now it's going to come out and make you look bad because it not only did it happen, but you. So back to Michael. You just have to say, I did the BJ for real.
Yeah, right? Michael knows what's up. Mics should be learning from one another.
That's right. We have so many mics. All right.
Yeah, I know, right?
So my life lesson when we come to this, every time we come to the end and we have all the weddings and stuff, it's kind of mostly some of the most boring episodes that there are. And so my life lesson is just, you know, for TV programming, if good weddings don't make for good TV. And like we saw that, you know, we really didn't have that many good weddings. Michael and Juliana's was a good wedding. That was a good wedding.
Yeah, theirs was pretty.
It was kind of boring. But I realized, like...
Well, there wasn't stress about, like, oh my gosh, are things going to be ready?
Right, which made for better TV. like Robert stopping the wedding and getting everybody pissed at him, like was clearly more dramatic than a regular wedding, and that sucks for being a good wedding. So have a wedding that you wouldn't want to watch on TV. That's my life lesson.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so at the end of the last classic episode, Mr. O asked me who I'd rather punch in the face, and my options were Sasha and Tom.
Tom, yes.
From Tom and Darcy. That was an awful choice, and so I have a not so great scenario for you. Okay, so we're going to play F, Marry, Kill, and your options are Angela, Tanya, and Anna.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so I kill Angela. And then by process of elimination, I would have to marry Anna, because those kids need some sort of stable relationship, stable male figure in their life.
Oh my goodness.
Which means
Your
by
families
default,
would be like the Brady Bunch.
I'd have to close my eyes and think of England with Tanya.
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, if you're into crazy sex corners, I mean,
Yeah.
at least it'll, I don't know, be different. Adventurous, maybe is what I'm looking for.
I don't know.
Oh goodness.
Oh jeez.
Okay, so next week we have the tell-all, which apparently is 2 parts. Sunday, Monday. Yeah. Which means that we can't release on Monday because TLC does not consider our podcast recording schedule when they make their schedule. They should be more considerate.
They should.
Yeah. So our plans, though, for we said we would try to, but with the time zone difference, we may have to release on Tuesday then, possibly?
Yes.
You're thinking, Mr. O?
Yes, probably Tuesday.
Okay, so if that's the case, we'll release both parts of the tell-all on Tuesday, so we'll be recapping that. I'll prepare a 2-minute rumor roundup. We'll have our power rankings for all the individuals on this season, and then senior superlatives.
Have you started working on them? Your power rankings?
Senior superlatives? No, I haven't.
Ooh, it's a tough one.
Is it going to be a race to the bottom?
There are so many. There's so many. I'm like, well, they have to be at last. And then you look at somebody else and be like,
piled on the bottom.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
It's going to be a tough one.
So, yeah. So if you want to submit ideas for senior superlatives, so last season, I think we did stuff like, best and worst dressed. We had most likely to succeed, least likely to succeed. I can't remember what other ones we had.
I don't know. We can go back and listen to it and figure it out.
Yeah, I think I have it written down somewhere. But if you have a good idea for something, please send us a message.
We have a lot of gimmicks next week because we don't intend there to be a whole lot of stuff going down in the tell-all.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Because, yes, as we've said plenty of times, it's really should be named the Tell Very Little. So we're not expecting so much excitement.
Right. All right, but we're still going to be here.
Do you think we'll see a Jesse?
Oh, why don't they just bring back Jesse? I would take Jesse.
I don't know.
Let's just have more Jesse of a shower.
Why don't we just have Jesse host it?
Yeah.
Maybe he just host it.
Like,
I feel like
he could host it like
just hijack it and it'd be about him.
It would, but I want to see Jesse's presentation of his old people again. His American Psycho shower scene.
God.
The tell-alls are always improved by Jesse. And Angela's there too, so she'll defend him for some reason when everybody's going to be like,
that'll be interesting.
Right.
I wonder if they'll even let her there.
She was in the previews. She was there.
She was?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
But I would definitely like to see her defending Jesse when, Robert was like, why are you even here? Like, do you live here?
Yeah. Oh, well, here's a good prediction. Who do you think Angela will end up fighting with? Because it's inevitable.
Oh,
someone else on the cast.
That's true. I think Angela fights with... Oh, Tanya.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say the same thing. Their values don't align, for one.
Right.
And then they're
both loudmouths.
Equally, yes, volatile people. So, yeah. But I feel like if it really happened, that it would have been teased.
Oh, it's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like Angela got a very stern talking to, that she can't be in a fight.
I could also see Robert.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Maybe Tanya and Robert.
Oh, that'd be fun. Okay. Well,
because I can definitely see that too.
now that we said all these things, none of them will happen. And
yeah. Well,
yeah,
we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
Next week.
So, next week there are no classics, but if you are watching Love After Lockup or Life After Lockup, as it's now called, then we do release those Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. It's kind of a loosey date, but
yeah. Well,
sometime this week.
It's never right after the show because the show's on Friday. So
yeah. We have to enjoy our weekends, but yep. All right. Well,
then.
we will be wrapping up the season soon.
And then new season after that.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
All right.
Okay. Sounds good.
Bye.
See you next week. Okay, bye.